What's up, everyone, and welcome. Excuse me. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the AZ Sportscast, Sports Podcast, Sportscast, whatever you want to call it. I'm Kevin Humpherys. I'm your host, and today we're talking Diamondbacks and we're talking Suns. It's been a minute since I podcasted. It's been a week. The parasite got me. Don't eat any fruits or vegetables. Just kidding. Just make sure you guys are staying safe out there. Let's get to the intro.
On the spin, fires for the win! Got it!
The 30, the 20,
If he scores, it's over.
It's insane. One of the greatest postseason performers ever.
Here's Carroll. He's got it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series.
What a great day it is to be an Arizona Diamondbacks fan. It was almost a really, really bad day to be an Arizona Diamondbacks fan. And, hey guys, if you look around, you can see I got the new setup. We got Kobe and Book over here. We got all-time great Diamondbacks players over here. Current great Diamondbacks players over here. And, of course, Devin Booker All-Star jersey, which I hopefully will get signed one day. Maybe you guys can help me make that happen. As always, please subscribe and like this video and make sure that you guys watch more of my stuff. And I promise it might be bad now. I promise I will continue to put out bad content in the future and hopefully some good stuff as well. But let's get into it. The Arizona Diamondbacks are now half a game out of the National League Wildcard. And it was a up and down series. It was a series that the Diamondbacks easily could have swept. One could argue should have swept, but it was a up and down, back and forth series, and it's the exact kind of baseball that this team needs to be playing to be able to make a push. Now, Friday's game probably would have been the headline and the lead to this show because it was a game that the Diamondbacks easily should have, could have, and in most circumstances would have won. And Ketel Marte had the infamous no challenge at the end of the game. He also had an error in the first inning. And so this entire weekend would have been dominated by Ketel Marte's struggles. It would have been dominated by Diamondbacks starting pitching. Didn't do enough to get the job done. And that would have been really unfortunate. But thanks to the heroic efforts of Geraldo Perdomo, Nolan Arenado, and at the end of the game, Max Kepler, who walked it off. Sunday's game is the headline and why this Diamondbacks team has me feeling fantastic right now. The Diamondbacks were down 7-0 and came back to win 8-7 last night against the St. Louis Cardinals. It meant so much more than just one game. Because it's not just one game. When you play these wild card teams, every game that you beat them, they also calm down as well. So these games are incredibly important going forward against any team in the National League that's in the National League wild card race, because every time you beat one of these teams, it gets you that much closer and pulls them back or puts them even lower than you are. So the Diamondbacks still have lots of ground to make up because there's a three-way tie for that final wild card spot right now. And they have a lot of injuries. And of all the good things that happened in yesterday's comeback, the one bad thing that happened was Corbin Carroll did leave the game because of an elbow injury, his right elbow. So it's not his throwing elbow, which is a good sign. It means the only thing that's really going to cause him to miss games is if he's not able to swing a bat. It won't be because he can't throw the ball very far from the outfield. So that's a positive. Hopefully he can get that elbow figured out and he can be back soon. They haven't put him on the 10-day IL yet, which means they think that it's just going to be a small little thing, which is good news. And hopefully a few more days off can kind of help get him back from the slump that he's been going through. Although in Friday night's game, he did hit a game-tying 2-run blast that was ultimately given up by Paul Sewald in the top of the ninth inning. Anyway, yesterday's game was a microcosm of what this Diamondbacks team has been for the past 3 years. They gave Eduardo Rodriguez really struggled, gave up 5 runs. Then Dre Jameson came in and gave up 2 runs of his own. The Diamondbacks bats couldn't get anything going, but all of a sudden they came to life. They decided to grit their teeth and do their best to come back. Something we haven't seen a lot of this year is once this team gets down by 5 to 7 runs, they don't really have that same resolve to chip away and get back into the game. But that's exactly what they did, scoring 3 runs in the 6th inning, 2 runs from Geraldo Perdomo inside the park home run in the 7th, and then a Nolan Arenado game-tying 2-run shot in the bottom of the 8th inning. Got the Diamondbacks back from down 7-0 to tied 7-7. And then it went to extra innings, and Diamondbacks have not fared well in extra innings so far this season. They're below 500, and they've really struggled in being able to get the runner over. And guess what? They brought up Gabriel Moreno again. It was about a month ago, I think, because I remember talking about it on the podcast. It was about a month ago when Tori brought up Gabby, or maybe it was just a few weeks ago. It might have just been in that Padres series right before the break. But Tori Lovello had Gabriel Moreno up, decided not to bunt in that game. A lot of people felt that they should. In this game, no one was on first, and so you weren't at risk of having a double play with Gabby up this time. But still, definitely a situation where you could bunt, move the runner over to third, and then just get the ball in the air to get the guy home. And they didn't do it. Gabby popped out, I believe. Got the first out, and then Max Kepler came up and hit the game-winning double, and which scored. Let's see, who did it score? It scored Jorge Barrosa, who was running for Corbin Carroll. That's right. And you could see that this game, the belief that was already in the clubhouse that this could be a special back half of the season has been building. But you could see that it took another level, because when the Diamondbacks do this type of stuff like they did in 23 and they did in 24, you could see their confidence growing. You could see that, oh, there's no team that can beat us, and there's no team that can ever put us down far enough for us to have a chance. And having a really deep bullpen gives the Diamondbacks that chance every single game, because once it gets to the bullpen, the Diamondbacks know that for the most part, no one's scoring on this bullpen right now, and that gives your offense the ability to come back in games, because it's hard to come back in games when you keep giving up more runs. But once you know that the runs have stopped, then you can start building back, because the Diamondbacks knew once they went to Abner and Abner was cruising, they knew that if they could just get back into the game and let Torrey go to the bullpen, go to a guy like Juan Murillo and Ryan Thompson and Taylor Clark. There weren't a ton of guys available because they'd used so many arms the previous 2 days, but They knew that if they could get back into the game, that the bullpen was going to hold it down, and they did, and that's what they've done all season. So, am I optimistic as a Diamondbacks fan? Abso-freaking-lutely, because this team has so much on the IL that if it ever comes back, this could be a really, really special team. A really special team because right now you have Corbin Burns, Ryan Nelson, Michael Soroka, and Zach Gallen on the injured list. None of those guys are out for the season. And if the Diamondbacks could somehow get Burns and Soroka healthy, you throw those guys in with Brandon Pfaadt, who's dealing right now, and he dealed again on Saturday. You throw that in with Eduardo Rodriguez, who's having the best season of his career, and hopefully Merrill Kelly can figure it out. Then you throw Nelly in the bullpen with his lightning fastball. Maybe you bring him back as a starter. I don't know. They're going to have to figure out the logjam in the starting rotation if those guys come back. But not only that, hopefully Lourdes Gurriel Jr. can come back from injury and play well. We've seen Jordan Lawler play exceptionally well this season when he hasn't been injured. And so maybe there's a chance that he comes back and continues to hit 300 and continues to be one of the Diamondbacks' best hitters when healthy. He's taking batting practice right now. And the other thing is, with all these guys on the roster and all this talent, like some of this, I mean, it's not the most talented farm system ever, but I mean, we've seen some of these young guys come in and play well. So what's the value of some of these guys in AAA on the market right now? Can we go out and get a really good lefty arm in the bullpen? Can we go out and get a guy to play first base? Because to me, I mean, we saw Tyler Locklear have 2 hits yesterday. Hasn't, and I believe yesterday was his first appearance at first base, but we've seen Locklear and Tawa play better at first base, but we're going to need that to continue if this has any chance of working. Let's go out. Let's get a first baseman. I know it's harder said than done, especially with all of these teams in the wild card race right now, but hopefully some of these teams in the NL wild card race start to drop and become sellers at the deadline. That is best case scenario. So right now, Diamondbacks fans, you gotta, I don't know, add them to your Google alerts, add them to your ESPN notifications, but you got to keep tabs on what the Marlins are doing, what the Phillies are doing, what the Cardinals are doing, what the Padres are doing, what the Cubs are doing, what the Pirates are doing. We have to follow all these teams and root against all of these teams at every turn. At every turn, we need these teams to lose, all of them, and then for the Diamondbacks to continue to win. And so what's going to be fascinating to see is what Mike Hazen's able to get done and who he's going to have to give up on to get those guys. Because right now the Diamondbacks need a left-handed DH. They're good with right-handers. We don't need another right-handed bat. We need a left-handed bat and a guy that can play at first base. Hopefully a lefty bat. Now, could they solve those problems? Could they solve both of those problems in the same guy? Yeah, they probably could solve those problems in the same guy, especially if Max Kepler starts to especially if Max Kepler's bat starts to heat up. That would be ideal. And then their secondary need is a left fielder because that position just hasn't been able to play well this year. I think center field, they're mostly just going to stick with the combination of Waldschmidt, Troy, Tawa, and just kind of go through those guys. Lawler is a guy that can also play center or left field. So if the Diamondbacks get him back soon, then that could be another catalyst to this offense. Perdomo's playing much better right now. Marte's still going through it. Carroll's still struggling with injury, but he did have a home run on Friday, so that was positive to see. So as far as things look right now, the Diamondbacks have won 6 out of their last 7 games. They play one more series at home, and then they have a long road trip. And it's this road trip going forward that is going to make or break this season for them, in my opinion. And let's go through exactly what this road trip is. So first they play the Athletics. 3 games versus the Athletics at home. The Athletics, decent offense, I believe, but not great pitching. So the Diamondbacks are going to have to score some runs to beat these 3 teams, or to beat the Athletics 3 times. If they can sweep the Athletics, that's huge. That is humongous. My guess is, though, with the inconsistencies in the starting pitching right now, it's probably going to be more like a 2-1 series. Then they play 1 game in St. Louis. Looks like Brandon Pfaadt is slotted to start that game. The Diamondbacks are 4-0 in Brandon Pfaadt's start since his return from Reno. So let's make it 5-0, beat St. Louis. The game against St. Louis does not matter as far as tiebreakers go. The Diamondbacks already have the tiebreaker, but obviously going in and getting 1 game against St. Louis is going to feel great. And hey, we might be in a situation later in the season where we have to go in and win the one-off game against St. Louis, or win the one-off game against a different wildcard team. And it's going to be great practice for them. Then they play at Washington, who really took it to the Diamondbacks when they came to Chase Field in June. They score a lot of runs, hopefully, and they've started to kind of backslide basically since playing the Diamondbacks. Hopefully the Diamondbacks can get them when they're still low. We have Erod pitching on Friday. That should be a good matchup for Erod. Hopefully he can bounce back. And then it'll be Brott, and then undecided for that next game in the rotation on Sunday. So hopefully the Diamondbacks can take 2 out of 3 against Washington. Ultimately, if they can go 2-2 in the St. Louis and Washington homestand or road stand, that would be great. Then Monday they play 3 games at Pittsburgh, and then they play 3 games in Cleveland before returning home to play San Diego on the day of the trade deadline. So Diamondbacks have a very, very difficult stretch coming up against Washington, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. They're going to need the pitching to show up. They're going to need guys to come back from injury, hopefully during this time, to kind of boost the reinforce this team on the roster. What's going to be pretty exciting is that we have an offense that seems to be woken up. And so against Washington and against Pittsburgh, we should be able to score some runs. Hopefully, we don't have to play Paul Skeens, but we do have to go against Keller with the Pirates as it's slotted right now on ESPN. So that's the stretch. The Diamondbacks are going to have to go over 500 on the road on a 4-team road trip. Should be 3, but the St. Louis game got rained out, right? A 3 to 4 team road trip. They're going to have to go over 500. They're not going to have to go well over 500, but they have 10 games on the road. 6-4 makes my Kazan buy. 3-7, we might be selling. It's honestly coming down to it. Obviously, if you can go 1, 2, 3 pick-off wins against the Athletics, that's fantastic. Then that gives yourself some room to go 5-5 on the road and still be in the thick of the race. But you drop 1 or 2 against the Athletics, and then you go below 500 on the road, probably not in the best position to be selling, especially with all the injuries you have. It might be better to just call the season what it is, and it was a season that the Diamondbacks lost because Corbin Burns and Justin Martinez and AJ Puck and Jordan Lawler and some of the other guys and Michael Soroka, all those guys got injured, and they just weren't able to get enough of wins from the current roster. And that's okay. If that's what happens, that's 100% okay. Hopefully, they're in a position to buy. They get the offense juiced at the deadline, and then the pitching comes back in August, and then you're looking at a team that no one in the National League wants to go against in a playoff series, because you'd have to go against Corbin Burns, Brandon Pfaadt, Michael Soroka, Eduardo Rodriguez, Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, some combination of whoever's throwing the ball the best out of that group, if they're all healthy. Ryan Nelson, I don't know if I said him already. That's a loaded group. That's a loaded group of pitching. And then if you have a lineup that has Ketel Marte, Perdomo, Carroll, Gabriel Moreno, and Nolan Arenado as the everyday guys, and then you supplement that with guys against the best matchups, lefties, righties, whatever it is, you have a team that can go out and compete to make a deep playoff run. And I've said, or at least thought to myself, that this team, when fully constructed, can win a World Series. This team can win a World Series fully constructed. It's just, are we going to get enough of those pieces to be able to make a run? Now, they would not be the favorite. Dodgers, the Braves, the Cubs, the Brewers, I don't even know who's leading in the AL. I haven't paid attention to the AL for a long time just because no one's good. But the top teams in the American League, like, I'm not scared of any of them. Not scared. They should be scared of us. They should 100% be scared of us. So, that's the Arizona Diamondbacks portion of this podcast. Now, we'll move on to the Suns Summer League. And the last time I podcasted, I said, well, I don't know for sure Fleming is going to be able to carry us on offense in Summer League and in the regular season. But the Phoenix Suns did just an incredible job. Let's see. Sorry. Pulling up stats. Yeah. The Phoenix Suns, Summer Suns, whatever you want to call them, the Phoenix Suns Summer League Suns, say that 10 times fast, did an incredible job. And it was great to see Kamon Malawach, Rasheer Fleming, and Koa Pete play incredibly well. We saw Kamon Malawach go for 19-5 on, where's his rebounds, and 10.5 rebounds per game. He looked at 12.8 rebounds a game. Can't shortchange him. So he went 19.5 and 12.8 rebounds per game and 2 blocks per game and 1.3 steals a game. Really, really freaking good. Koa Pete went for 16.8 points on 50% shooting, 0% from 3, 62% from the free throw line, 4.8 rebounds a game, 2.3 assists, 1.5 steals, 3 turnovers, 6 fouls. He was playing very physical out there. And we saw Rasheer Fleming kind of catch fire in the last couple games of NBA Summer League. He scored 12 points per game on 42% shooting from 3 because he finished up strong. And then 6.5 rebounds a game, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block per game. So the Summer Suns did what they were supposed to do, and they all went in and flashed their potential. Now, are they obviously all flawed? They are. Do I still have question marks about Rasheer Fleming's jump shot? I 100% do, but 42% is really good on two 3-point makes per 4.8 attempts. So that's a good number. That's over 2 a game. That's really good for Rasheer. So the jump shot is super mechanical. Talked about it. It takes a long time for him to catch and release, and he passes up a lot of open ones too. But against the Pistons in the game on, what I love to see and what I was hoping to see more of during Summer League was just, and I didn't really care about makes and misses. I just wanted him to catch and shoot confidently, quickly, because in the NBA, teams, if you can shoot, teams don't let you shoot if you can't catch and release in less than a second. And for Rasheer, a lot of his looks had been coming catch, gather self, load up, shoot. Not the best. And sometimes when you do that, you also slow yourself down, especially because he's a high jumper. So if you stall all your momentum by taking so much time, you miss short a lot, which is what Rasheer was doing. And so what I liked to see from Rasheer was that he would, as soon as the ball was in his hands, he was trying to get that shut up quick. And that was the most positive sign, even more so than him going 5 of 8 from 3 against Detroit. It was a really, really good sign. And defensively, he's going to be really good as a screener. He's going to be really good. We know all that stuff. We know that he's going to be a good player, even if he can't shoot the three that well. He's going to be a really, really intriguing special player if he can shoot threes. I'm not expecting him to ever develop into a guy that's attacking hard and like making extra plays off the dribble or getting to his spots and pulling up or driving to the basket and making a move and then finishing. I don't know. I don't think that's who he's going to be in his career. If he developed into that, that would be incredible. I don't think that's who he's going to develop into in his career. So I'm thinking he's going to hopefully shoot 38% from 3 in his career, take all the open ones, hit big shots, make big plays on defense, score in transition on the break, uses athleticism to cut as well. That's what I want from Rasheer Fleming. But I want him to at least be confident shooting from 3. And I really, really liked what I saw from Rasheer Fleming. Koa Pete, he showcased his ability to score in the mid-range. That was my number one takeaway from Koa Pete, was his ability to post up, drive, pull up, shoot in the mid-range. It looked really, really, really solid. It was exactly what we saw from him at Arizona. I saw a tweet that said something like, oh, this is what happens when you like free a guy from playing in a college system that didn't utilize his skill set. Now, that's pretty crazy because I thought Koa Pete was allowed to do pretty much whatever he wanted to at Arizona. I mean, he didn't shoot a ton of threes, but they let him shoot, or he shot threes when he was open. He played in the mid-range almost exclusively at Arizona, which is exactly what he did for the Suns. Now, Arizona always had a big down below, and so maybe there was more space in the lane for him. But guess what? In college, teams just camp their center in the lane. So it's not like moving Awaka or Krivas was going to do a whole lot of anything if those guys moved outside the paint. It really just wasn't going to do a whole lot. Now, when they went super big and played all 3 of those guys together, then maybe I can see your argument of they didn't put Koa Pete in the best position to succeed. But It's college basketball. It's a different game. Koa is going to be a lot better equipped to handle the ball in space. He'll be able to score even more easily, even easier, more easily. He'll be able to score easy. He'll be able to score even more in transition. It might not be easier, but he'll be able to score in transition even more. He's great with the ball in his hands, and that mid-range pull-up, post-up that he can get to is really important for the Suns long term because the Suns need a guy who can get downhill and score at the rim. If he can develop a three-point jump shot, then that's the icing on the cake. The problem is for Kobe is that the Suns already have a lot of guys like him, kind of like him on the roster. Like they have Miles Bridges, they have Rasheer Fleming, who's a better shooter and a better rebounder, a better shooter, a better rebounder, and a better defender. So in my opinion, as it goes right now, if you're going, oh, who should get more minutes or the minutes because of how kind of deep this Suns team is. If we're going, who's going to get more minutes? I think it should be Rasheer Fleming because of what he brings defensively, and he at least has shown the capability of being a 35-ish three-point shooter, 35-ish% three-point shooter. That would be great. If he's that three-point shooter during the season, he's going to play. The Suns have a lot of guys who already dribble. So adding Koa Pete to the mix, not really not really what I would do as Jordan Knott, especially we've seen Jordan Knott value shooting a lot as well. So look, Koa Pete is going to be a great player in the league, but maybe it's better if he just doesn't play that much his rookie year, even though a lot of fans will be upset about that. And he's just able to shoot 500 to 1,000 shots a day, work on that three-point jumper. We see him in Summer League next year. He's hitting threes, still really good in the mid-range, has worked on his body, so he's even stronger, quicker, more explosive, can finish even better at the basket. Like, then once we get to that point, then it's like, okay, now you're thinking of, okay, we can move Koa Pete to the starting lineup. We can move Rasheer Fleming to the starting lineup and play those guys. So in my opinion, I think Rasheer just brings more of the intangible stuff right now, but Koa Pete long term is a guy that the Suns can look at as like the second leading scorer on a playoff team or a third leading scorer on an NBA title team, which is kind of the role he played at Arizona. Was he was like this great second banana to whatever guard had it going, and he would do the little stuff, but he'd also score as well next to Burries or Jaden Bradley. And so I think that's kind of where Koa slots in the NBA too. Hopefully that three-point jump shot gets figured out, and then this team can go to the moon. I said my biggest question mark that I had going into Summer League was going to be, can Koa Pete, Rasheer Fleming, and Kaman Malawach all play together, start together going forward? Now, they're not ready to all start in the NBA right now, but in 2 years from now, I really think that those three could all at least maybe not start all of the time, but definitely be starting level players on playoff teams. And that's a huge win for the Phoenix Suns. It's a huge win that those three guys all flashed in Summer League. It's a huge win that all three guys we can be confident about right now at some point being starters for the Phoenix Suns. And guess what? If you still have Miles Bridges and Dillon Brooks on the roster, then it's a great problem to have because you can trade the vets, or maybe you trade the young players and go for it all and try and bring in a young star. Like there's so many, the the roster jams will be figured out. Don't worry about the roster jams because this team will trade away guys to get it figured out and hopefully create less, uh, create less of a, bad position. And guys, let's not forget there's Ryan Dunn and also Iguodaro. And Ryan Dunn flashed his rookie year, still flashed occasionally his second year, sophomore year, but it was also Iguodaro who played all 82 games for the Phoenix Suns, and he basically finished 65-ish games for the Suns this year. Jordan believed in Oso, and we still have Oso Iguodaro who proved that he can be a high-level winning player as well. And so the Suns right now, they have a good problem to have, and it's a lot of good forwards. The harder part is going to be how do you get them all on the floor together? How do they all mix when a lot of them kind of overlap in the same areas and struggle in the same areas? Mostly shooting is where we're struggling. But like if any or a few of these guys can add 3-point jump shots, like this group of forwards that the Suns have on the roster right now can really be one of the deepest, maybe not the highest level of talent that like there's no Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum or Kawhi Leonard on this team, right? But this team could have one of the deepest forward rooms in the league, one of the deepest 3 small forward, power forward uh, groups in the league. And the good news is that if any of those guys get injured, like giving 20 minutes to Ryan Dunn isn't the worst case scenario in the world. If one of the centers gets hurt, giving 20 minutes to Malawach or giving 30 minutes to Oso, like all these guys have shown that at least right now, they're at least deserving of NBA minutes and could at least conceptually play winning level basketball next to Devin Booker. And that's just a huge win. It's just a huge win right now for the organization that they've been able to develop so many of these players so far. And if they can develop them even more, then that'll be great. And I'm sad. I'm sad that Summer League's over. I'm also sad that we didn't get to see the trio of summer stars play one more game. They lost this weekend to the Spurs, where Malawach, Pete, and Rasheer Fleming all didn't play. Would have loved to have seen those guys play and just go out there and play. Fortunately, they weren't able to, which is okay. It's okay. I'll live. But that means the next time we see any of these guys play, it's going to be in September or early October for Phoenix Suns training camp, and I can't wait. And if you guys haven't checked your calendars yet, like Arizona Cardinals training camp is right around the corner too, so it's time to get excited. Sports is back. The World Cup's over, but I can smell the grass. I can smell the fresh cut grass of football. I can smell I can hear the squeaky shoes of the hardwood. The bats are still cracking, and baseball season is continuing to heat up, especially if you're a Diamondbacks fan. So I'm very, very optimistic, which I don't say often about Arizona sports. Usually I'm pessimistic, but right now I'm very optimistic about the Phoenix Suns for sure, the Diamondbacks for sure. At some point, maybe I can be optimistic about the Arizona Cardinals. Let's talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that. I'm not sure. It's just frustrating. Michael Bidwell just continues to amaze. And there continues to be just more of these stories. I mean, we know Steve Keim had the drinking incident and he was suspended, but They were using burner phones to still communicate with him. It was this whole situation. Now, the director of college scouting, let me look up his name. Arizona Cardinals college scouting. Yeah, so Ryan Gold, director of college scouting, was suspended by the Arizona Diamondbacks for betting on NFL football outcomes, whether it was draft picks, games, just another front office guy runs into issues. It's just frustrating. As a Diamondbacks fan, it's frustrating because this is the type of stuff that as a Cardinals fan, this stuff is so frustrating because it's a type of stuff that just shouldn't be happening in the organization. It just shouldn't be happening. And it's so frustrating that this stuff continually pops up. It continually pops up. Ryan Gold is just another guy in this Cardinals organization that shows just how poorly run everything is. And so, Ryan Gold, while the bullseye is on you, we as Cardinals fans always have to turn and make sure that the bullseye is focused on the right person. It's Michael Bidwell for finding, hiring, bringing in the right people to do their job with professionalism. And we just continue to see that that's just not the case. It's just hasn't been the case with Michael Bidwell. Hopefully, things change at some point. I don't know if they're going to change at some point. They might never change, which is unfortunate, but at least there's a few guys on the roster that we can still be excited about. Trey McBride, Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, Josh Sweat, Will Johnson. Hopefully we can get enough enjoyment watching those guys this season, and the Cardinals can finally take their foot out of their behinds and figure things out. That's it for another episode of the AZ Sports Podcast. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials, wherever you're on social media. That's where you can find us, and we will see you next time on Thursday. Hopefully more early. I'm trying to figure out a schedule where I can do these lives at the exact same time every week. Still trying to figure that out. This is more just an experiment, and I just like going live because it's all out there. It's all out there. All the mistakes are there for you to see. It's unpolished, but that's kind of how I like it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Go Diamondbacks, go Cardinals, and go